147 hours. 147 hours until the NFC Championship game. The Final Four. Your Philadelphia Eagles absolutely got the Giants, put them over their knee, and applied a spanking to the New York Football Giants. That was an epic, epic beatdown. Welcome in, everybody. It is Monday, and none of us have a case of the Mondays because the Eagles have advanced to the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. My man, Barrett Brooks. I am Rob Ellis. Gunner a little bit banged up today, not feeling great. Hopefully be back tomorrow. But B. Brooks, what's up, my man? How we feeling right now? Temperature check of B. Brooks. I got the thermometer out. How we doing?
What are we talking about, man? Utter and total domination. That's what I'm feeling right now.
Yes!
I mean, come on now. I mean, I kept telling people, look, this team is a far better team than what this Giants team faced against Minnesota. Minnesota was some half-wits. I mean, come on now. Do they really think that you could put a, gauge a barometer on how good this team was?
Pretenders.
Right. How are you supposed to say how good you are when you played against a team that was terrible on the defensive side of the ball? In fact, the defensive coordinator just got fired. He's no longer there.
Yep.
Everybody's wearing, he's one of those Vic Fangio disciples. We play similar defense that they do. They don't have the same players we have. They don't have the same horses we have, man. Yep. And by the way, I've been saying this for how long that 49ers team isn't as good as what everybody's saying they are. I know they're good. Yep. I'm not taking that away from them. I'm just saying the Eagles team is better.
Yes.
The Eagles by far the best team in the NFL. I've been screaming it countless times.
Hey, I agree with A-Dog. That is a sweet hoodie, dude. Give me a little bit of that. I need. There you go.
There we go.
Now, which Batman are you? What are you considered?
I mean, I don't know what I don't know what you would call me, bro. All I know is
you're chatty Batman.
Yeah. Talking to Batman. But I've had this. I got
That's
this
badass, dude. I love that. Yeah.
I think in 2018.
You got that before all the Batman stuff started this year?
Way before all that, bro. Way before that. I seriously got this back in 2018, 19, something like that.
I like it. Doc, retired Batman. No, but Barrett, honestly, like we sat here and I'm not usually one to do like a victory lap or any of that, but whatever. We sat here last week and I kept saying, guys, I'm breaking this down and I'm trying to go through position by position, coaching and all that. There was one position I gave the Giants a nod to, and that was running back. And it wasn't a landslide like Miles Sanders' chopped liver. But every other position, the Eagles had them by a wide margin. Quarterback, Absolutely. Not even close. Receivers, not even close. Tight end, not even close. Offensive line, not even close. Defensive line, linebackers, secondary. Talent rises to the top, especially when you're well coached. And the Eagles are well coached and well prepared. And Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen, and yes, Jonathan freaking Gannon, everybody who wants to crap on him, they came out and they absolutely took him to the woodshed in that game.
Oh, beat them like they stole something. And bro, at no point was I worried about that team sneaking back in the game or anything else. I'm talking about the same team.
Never felt like they were. Never.
We totally annihilated them back then. Back then, we annihilated them. We played them the first time. Why would we think it'd be even different this time? Any different this time? I mean, all things being, equal, health being an issue. They had all their guys. We had all their guys. And it was still a massacre. Still a massacre.
Yeah.
Gannon called a more aggressive game. We were more aggressive as far as running the ball. You name it. A healthy Jalen Hurts puts everything in perspective for us having the greatest team. Not the greatest team, the best team in the NFL this year.
I think, Barrett, here's the other thing, and I will stand behind this statement no matter what. If the Eagles play their A game, and we got A game Saturday night, okay? If they play their A game, no one's better. Now, that's not to take anything away from the 49ers, who we'll get into in a second, and the Chiefs, if Mahomes is healthy, big if, and the Bengals, who deserve a lot of credit, man. A lot tougher than people give them credit for either, too, as well. But if the Eagles play their A game, I'll take the Eagles against anybody, bar none, in that league.
Wow. Bro, when you look at how good this team could be with Jalen Hurts, the sky's the limit, man. They're gonna have to pay him this year.
Yeah, they are. That's okay.
But so what? You know what I'm saying? So what?
I don't. Who cares? If they win a Super Bowl, man, pay him. Pay that man.
Well, look at this, Rob. I think when you look at how they did this, it's not like how the 49ers, but the Rams did it. The Rams brought in players and won a Super Bowl, but they put them on long-term contracts.
And they traded all their picks away, Barrett.
Right.
The Eagles are sitting there with the Saints pick at 10 and their pick. Keep that in mind.
They didn't trade off. They didn't trade the farm, but the only thing they traded was like the 4th round pick, 2 4th-round picks or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, for Quinn, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not talking about like high, like killer kind of things like the Rams gave up.
But bro, at the end of this calendar year, all that money has been washed from the books.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? These are guys, even though they're on 1-year deals, they're washed from the books.
Right.
So you have money to pay people and bring people in still. And that's the decided difference in how we're approaching this game and how the Rams approach this game.
Mm-hmm.
We're winning this with a first-year contract. It's very few and far between teams that win an NFL Super Bowl with a guy that's a 2nd-round pick whose salary is not even $2 million.
It is. It's correct, and that's why they saw an opening this offseason.
Right.
And that's why they went all in. You saw it every step of the way. Hassan Reddick signing. Trade for A.J. Brown, Bradbury, Kaiser White, C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade. We could go on and on and on. They knew we have flexibility right now. Strike while the iron's hot, and that's what Howie Roseman did. And that's why this team has so much depth along both lines and in places they didn't have it last year. I mean, Hassan Reddick continues to dominate. It doesn't matter what the stage is, regular season, playoffs, ridiculously good. And it's not just the 1.5 sacks that he got Saturday night, Barrett. It's how disruptive he is on almost every pass play. That dude is around the quarterback all the time.
Wrecking ball.
Oh,
he was wreaking havoc. There was no sense. At no point did Jones feel comfortable in the pocket. No point. And he was always around him, man. He always in. Look, let me tell you a quick story. And I figured this out after this game. I was in Philly, and we were playing the Cowboys actually. And I'm blocking Charles Haley. I'm having a damn good game against Charles Haley. I'm blocking him. He's not getting any pressure on Rodney Peete at all. But I noticed around the 2nd quarter, I'm blocking him, and as we're walking back to where we huddle up at. I noticed that Charles Haley would come up and tap him on his back. Hey, I was almost there. Right. I know you wasn't. You wasn't always there. He would do it again. I'm almost there. I'm right in your hip pocket. I'm there.
Right.
So we went into halftime, and Rodney Peete pulled me aside and said, "Hey, bro, stop him from doing that." I said, "Why? He's not there." But that's a lie. He said, "It's not that. He's doing that, and it doesn't affect me, but any other quarterback would be like, oh, he's almost there." Which speeded up the clock in his head and made him thinking that he has been there when he's not even there. It's just the mental gymnastics that pro players and those great players use to kind of make the quarterback think that the clock in his head is going faster than what it really is. Mm-hmm. And I hadn't thought about them like, damn, that's smart by this guy.
Yeah,
understanding, So he's not even there. He's not even being a force or a presence. But he's still messing with the psyche of my quarterback.
The constant mind games. Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
When you got a guy like Hassan Reddick, and he's always around the ball, and now you're making that quarter play frenetically. And that's exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
Jones felt like he never had enough time. He was playing frenetic. Even when he did have time, he still plays there was somebody around him because Hassan Reddick had put those demons in his head already.
Well, that's the other thing too, Barrett. Like there was the big concern. And this is the other point I try to hammer home to people. Like the Giants were 2-5-1 to close out the season, but everybody kept telling you how bad the Eagles looked for the last month. Whatever.
Right.
And I'm saying 2 of those games were without your quarterback. One of them, you played your quarterback, but we know what that was. It was like a glorified preseason game. So you could take those games out. If you want to harp on the Chicago game where they still won the Chicago game. So basically when Hurts is playing, they win, as witnessed by the fact that he's 15-1 as a starter. You don't think that guy? I mean, it's not only how phenomenal he is, both with his arm and his legs. He brings a presence, and what I mean by that is, yes, we all get excited knowing he's going to be playing, but his players are like, all right, everything's good now. Like, we know this guy. We got our guy. I mean, Sirianni, and I know what he was saying. He wasn't saying he's Michael Jordan in terms of greatness. He's got a long, long, long way to go for that. But what he was saying was he means that to our team. When our guys know that he's back there and he's healthy and right, which he is, we got a pretty good chance to win a football game.
You're absolutely right. And remember when I kept telling people his message got lost in translation? Reason I was saying that, it was he took a step back when he wasn't starting and allowed the starting quarterback, Gardner Minshew, to put his message out there so the team can accept him and ride him during the time he was out. So his message got kind of distilled because of that. You know what I'm saying? It got, it wasn't taking the impact because that was designed by Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
He wanted to make sure that those guys respected him in a way that, all right, he's the starting quarterback, so he has to take the reins. I'm going to sit back, and it's not, you see me, I'm here, but this guy's on the field, so listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
The message that they needed wasn't being translated to them. He comes back. They're playing differently because, number one, he's in the game. They hear him. They vibe with him. They're feeling him. So because of that, they play an inspired game. They also understand the time of possession, which is key, will be in their favor because he's going to be on the field. He's going to make sure the offense is ran the way it's supposed to be ran.
Yep.
It helps the defense because they're not on the field a long time because they can go 3 and out knowing that their quarterback be on the field and drive it down the field. All those things are tied in and correlated together in him being the quarterback and leader of the team, bro.
Yep.
I mean, it's incredible what he brings, that calming sensation that he brings to this team, man.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the other thing, and hi, Mama Brooks, and hi, everybody in the chat section. You guys are on fire already, crushing it with your points. And everybody streaming, everybody listening, we appreciate you for sure. And let's smash the like button, by the way, today. Let's go on an all-time like tear. You know, one of the things I said was, you know, watch the first drives. Watch the first drives of the Eagles. Watch the first drive of the Giants, right? And the Eagles go out there and they march right down the field. And Hurts was absolutely brilliant on that first drive. 5 for 5, 68 yards, a touchdown, and a $158.3 passer rating. And the second play of the game, the Eagles told everybody, you know, if you're worried about the shoulder, don't. Let's go up top to Devontae Smith. And it was a beautiful thing, right? So that was right out of the chute. And I love that kind of play calling. But then you go back to what the Giants, you know, ended up doing on their first drive. And while it wasn't a 3-and-out, Barrett, they ended up getting stuffed on 4th down, which when I saw 4th down, 4th and 8 on the 40 early in the game, that he's not trying a field goal. He knows, he being Dable, knows it's going to be a long night. And the Eagles are going to be up and down the field scoring. So I got to be a little bit desperate here. And he goes for it. He doesn't get it. Those two series on offense and on defense set a tone for the entire night.
Well, you're absolutely right, man. Dable, you could tell, man, he knew he was outclassed, man. And that's why he wasn't all, you know what I'm saying, pissed off on the sideline.
Yeah, he knew. He was resigned. He was resigned to, this is what it is.
He's I'm not going to bump my head against the wall. I'm not going to get all excited. I'm not going to be cussing these guys out because we're not where we need to be. We're not there. The Eagles, they're there.
Yeah.
They're where they need to be. They're the best team in the NFL. So I'm gonna congratulate my guys. I'm gonna coach my guys hard. And now they see what the measuring rod is as they go forward. Mm-hmm. They see who this team needs to be as they go forward. And that's huge, man. It's huge when you think of how good this team really is, man. I mean, this was a reminder, Barrett. We had all sort of been lulled to sleep a little bit for the last month.
Me. Well,
I was screaming.
No, you're right. Let me rephrase that. A lot of people, not you for sure, had been lulled to sleep about how dominant this team was.
Right.
You don't get out to whatever they were, 14-1. What were they? 13-1. Whatever.
Yep.
You don't get out to that kind of start by accident. I don't care. People can throw the schedule at you and all of that weak shit that they would throw out there about
exactly.
But they didn't play anybody. and you watch the team with your eyeballs, and you know when this team's healthy and the quarterback's playing, how they took teams apart all year. And Saturday night was just like an alarm clock, a refresher course on what this team actually is. Because of all the games, and I give the Bengals unbelievable credit for what they did yesterday in those.
They dismantled that.
They're tough, dude. That's a tough team. But the Eagles by far had the most dominating performance, by far.
No question.
You know, we could say the Giants weren't meant for the big stage and all that, and people can keep making excuses for why the Eagles play so well. But we know very well what that was, because it was on both sides of the ball. Like, we're going to dig really heavily into the offense and the defense and all that in a minute. But
can't wait.
They did what they always do. They got 5 sacks. They had a balanced attack. They rushed for 268 yards, man, in a playoff game.
44 carries, 44 run plays.
So any way you want to be beat, you're going to get beat. Like, okay, you're going to take the run away, they'll beat you in the air. You know, A.J. Brown did nothing in that game. Think about what he's going to do this week.
Bro, and
he's chopping at the bit.
You see how pissed off he was?
He's going to be out of his mind going into that game on Sunday against the 49ers.
They're going to be talking about Debo Samuels.
That's all he's going to hear is Debo and Ayuk and all those guys. All Goddard's going to hear about is Kittle. All Miles Sanders is going to hear about is McCaffrey. And all we're going to hear is what a great story Brock Purdy is. And he is a great story. But, you know, Jalen Hurts is a second-round pick doing this.
That Jalen Hurts has had an MVP season, guys.
I got to pace myself. I'm out of my mind.
I'm fired up, bro.
I'm just telling you, man.
Fired up, man. That's the way it's supposed to be, because we finally sat back and we realized how good. And just like they said, they still haven't reached the potential that I've seen them play. They didn't play. The offense didn't play nowhere near the capacity they played when they played against the Vikings.
Right.
The defense didn't play anywhere near how they, shut down when they went in and shut down that Dallas offense.
Right.
I mean, they shut that Dallas offense down, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they haven't played to those capabilities yet. You know what I'm saying? They haven't played an entire game, and and they're just waiting until the Super Bowl to do it. Not looking past this game, because I truly feel we have the better team than even the 49ers. And looking at it, I can't wait to sit back and look. I just watched the game last night. I hadn't had a chance.
Yeah, I want to go back and look at the Niners again later today.
Yeah, so I would have usually I would have waken up and watched.
Yeah, you had the morning show. You were busy. Yeah,
but I was on the morning show this morning with Angelo, in which the coach called him out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I would have already watched it. I've already watched the game now. I did watch the Eagles game over again.
Right.
And it was almost like a total waste of my time, because it just wasn't fair.
Yeah.
It just wasn't fair. You're not going to get those type of situations all the time, man.
Had the Eagles not throttled it back, for lack of a better word, in the second half, they're in the 50s in that game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And, but what they did, some of it is natural. You do have a little bit of a letdown. But the other part was, we're not going to risk Jalen, put him in positions where he could get hurt, with a team that's got nothing to lose at this point to tee off. They took Miles Sanders out, let him get some rest. Then it became the Gainwell and Boston Scott story, which, those guys were great. Do you know the other thing is that's so impressive about these guys? Lane Johnson comes back from this, and we know he's hurt. We know he doesn't feel great. He's playing. He didn't even allow a pressure, Barrett. Not a sack, not a pressure. Neither did Kelsey, by the way. What else is new?
And what pisses me off?
Dominance.
You know what pisses me off, man? What really pisses me off is that I had a season where I gave up 8 sacks. And this sucker gives up no sacks and is playing on one leg. Not even a hurry, and he's playing on one leg. That's how dominant, that's how good he is. Here I am, I gave up, 8 sacks in just one game. This guy comes in and is balling like that. Man, I'm like, what is going on?
These dudes are next level. You have 2 guys on that line who are lock Hall of Famers. I'm telling you, Lane Johnson should be in every conversation as far as the Hall of Fame goes. And I know people want to talk about the PED stuff early in his career, whatever. But Kelsey, there isn't even a question about Kelsey anymore.
None.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. Kelsey, we talked all that stuff about him playing against Lawrence and how much, he's given up 10 years of youth. He's given up 60 pounds in mass, and Kelsey killed him the entire game.
Right.
I mean, massacred him. And then they put their backups in. Oh, you mean to tell me you're going to put a backup in after I got through destroying Lawrence? You can put a backup in, and what does he do? I mean, he beats him to sleep, bro. He's hip tossing him and everything else. That dude is unreal, man. I don't know.
But, here's the other thing. I don't think Jason Kelce needs any kind of motivation for anything. But I'm sure he heard, hey, yeah, he's kind of a smaller, scrappy dude.
That's what he said, small, scrappy.
Yeah, that's what he said, small, scrappy. Like, it was kind of like patting him on the head. Like, dude, really? You're going to say that about Kelce? How about just the guy's unbelievable, man? I don't get these guys, man. Why would you poke that tiger?
Well, he did, and you see what happened to him. Man. He got the sleep beat out of him. Beat him to death.
Yeah, he did.
Smacked him on the butt and sent him home.
Yep. Yeah. It was that was the kind of performance that, like, as you're watching it unfold, you're like pinching yourself. This can't even be happening. Like, this is a playoff game. This wasn't a regular season game where you just, it's week 5 and, whatever, one team's better. This is a team that made it to the playoffs and advanced to the divisional round that you disposed of, that you absolutely smacked around. And it was the Giants on top of it. The only thing sweeter would have been
a division. Yes, a division foe.
Yeah. Not that it wasn't sweet. Believe me, it was sweet.
Because I can see if all things being equal and we played, we beat Dallas, and I wouldn't worry about Dallas and I wouldn't worry about Tampa Bay. But we'd have beat. Can you imagine the score if we would have played Tampa Bay, or if we'd have played Minnesota?
Minshew would have been in early third quarter.
Right.
That's
exactly
what it would have looked like. That's the other thing. You got to get Jalen out of there, get him a little rest. You have an extra day rest as opposed to the 49ers who played, late into Sunday, 9 o'clock, whatever time
they played a tough physical game.
And they played a very physical game. Yeah. The Cowboys are a physical team, for sure. Yep. And the Eagles, by all accounts, got out of their game clean, for the most part. It was a couple little nagging things here and there, but it looked like everybody was okay.
I could sit back, man, and watch this game over and over again, man. That's how good it was, bro. That's how good it was.
Yeah. It was the kind of game where you dispelled a lot of myths. You dispelled we saw how Jalen Hurts played in a playoff game last year against the Bucs. Give me a break. But that was put to bed. Jalen Hurts is hurt. That was put to bed. Lane Johnson can't get through a game. That was put to bed. The Giants are the upstart. Look out for the Giants. That was put to bed. The Eagles haven't played good in a month. That was put to bed. Like, we can put all the nonsense narratives now aside. Like let's sweep them out the door now, and let's get to real business here about this game. Coming up with 49ers, because that's what it was. I mean, honest to God, that's what this was.
There's
it was
no question.
Destruction. And the Giants. You're right, Barrett. The Giants know. Like, and they took it like, man, Dable, understood what it was. He said in every phase they outplayed us, and I have nothing against Dable. The guy did an unbelievable job. But
unbelievable.
The Eagles destroyed them, and if you're the Giants, you're looking at it and you're saying, maybe this is what the Eagles went through last year when they got beat up by the Bucs in the first round, or whatever. I don't even care how they're looking at it, frankly. But if you're the Eagles, I think you reestablished yourself too. Like, not that they had any doubt in themselves, but it was kind of like, this is what we look like when we have full mass, when everybody's here, when the quarterback's playing, we got Lane Johnson back. This is who we are. And boom, that's exactly what we got.
It was still hard for me to believe how good Lane was, man. I mean, that's what I saw in Lane, man, was just the heart of a champion, man, number one. But just how dominant he is. I mean, he used just upper body. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't able to drop his hips and bow his back and really block the guy. He had to finesse him and outpower him up top. He turned into a power player as opposed. He's a finesse guy. He plays well playing finesse football. You know what I'm saying? Meaning he can get us. He's a dancer bear. He can get in somebody and dance with him all day. Mm-hmm. He didn't do that this time. He had to go out there and really be a mauler, because when you can't move the way you need to move, you got to find some way to stop him. And the way which he said, all right, then, since I can't move like an athlete as much as I usually do, I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to muscle this guy.
Yep.
I'm going to grab him. I'm going to push him around. I'm not going to let him push me around, And that's what he did. And it worked out perfectly for him, bro. Perfectly. Yeah. He was fighting like a champion, bro. I can't take anything away from Thibodeau. Thibodeau was trying. He just couldn't get there.
He just couldn't. Yeah, and he'll learn. He'll get better, obviously. That guy's going to be a stud. But, you're right. I really hope if the Eagles can keep advancing, and then, we'll get into the Niners game and then the Super Bowl, I hope Lane Johnson can get through all these games because he deserves it. You know, the guy's doing everything he can to be out there and play, and he deserves every bit of it, man. The guys, they all do. That was awesome. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We come back, we're going to do the offense. Then we'll get into the defense. Then we'll look at the Eagles and Niners and get into the Niners game and what they were able to do against the Cowboys. 2 o'clock, our NFL segment. Bengals beating the Bills, Chiefs beating the Jags, and the Mahomes injury, which Barrett could impact everything here, man. If the Chiefs, you know, whether they in the AFC Championship game and or if they get to a Super Bowl, with how serious that is. How about the weekend in Philadelphia sports? Eagles dominate. Sixers win without Harden and Embiid. Okay, in Sacramento, who's a much better team this year.
Yep.
The Flyers won that night as well, and Temple upset #1 Houston yesterday.
I had to send you that little nugget.
I know you,
like...
I know you did. I know. Hey, here's what a nut I am. I was actually flipping back and forth with that one in the early game, just to try to keep. And the game was crazy. Temple didn't have a field goal the last 7 minutes and still won the game. It's unbelievable. So it was a weekend, that's for sure. So what we'll do, we're going to come back. We'll dive into the offensive side, what we saw from Hurts, from Miles Sanders, some numbers that just display the dominance that the Eagles put on them. So we'll do all of that when we come back. Big Monday, man. Let's destroy the like button. Let's crush it. Let's tell a friend right now what's going on right here, because you're not getting this anywhere else. Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, we're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Right now, I want to tell you about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group, because, look, you work way too hard not to have the right person to invest your money for your future. I did it for a long time. I found the right person, and it's Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, you might have a small business that you're just getting off the ground and you're not really sure how to set up your employee benefits. That's another resource that Jim can help you with. I've personally entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollover with Jim, and I couldn't be any happier. You will be too. Give him a call. 610-996-4751. 610-996-4751. You can also email him as well. Murray, Murry, at Jim, Murray.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.